Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to draw my OC, but it's gonna be a speed paint. So I'm gonna draw my OC. Her name is Akari, and I'm just gonna erase the base over here. I actually messed it up. And then now I'm fidgeting with the brush. I need to change the presets. What I didn't know was it was actually the eraser. Haha! Well, at least I know the eraser will be done and I don't need to fidget with it anymore. And now I realized the mistake that it was the eraser. Now I'm starting off with the head. I actually didn't know what pose I was gonna make for her, so I was really confused. I just started drawing her head over and over again. It was really confusing. And I know I don't draw my head like other artists. Usually they start off with the circle first, but I actually just start drawing the face. I know I'm weird, so I'm just zooming in right now. And then I decided the pose. It was actually quite hard to decide the pose with starting with blank. I didn't have any reference. It was really hard. So now I'm drawing the head again. I'm just drawing the head over here, and then it's actually really hard for me because I don't really use Photoshop. I usually use Paint Toolsai, but then it kind of crashed, so then I changed to Photoshop. I'm not really experienced with it, so it will look kind of corny. No. Chunky, yes. I'm just drawing the ears. I'm no good in ears either. I took a very long time with my sketch for this because I'm not really good with the head. I need it to be very perfect, very intricate. Now I'm just drawing the body. I didn't draw her full body because then this video would be too long. So I'm just drawing her arms, and then I'm gonna draw her hands, and then I'm gonna go with her facial expression. I was really confused with the hands too. I thought I was just gonna make them go down, or I was gonna put one up and put one down, but I decided to just make both of them go up. I'm not good in hands either. It's an artist problem, but it's really hard, so yes. Now I'm just moving on with the hair. Her hair is very, how do I say it, unique. I actually have bangs, but it's overgrowing, so her bangs is also overgrowing like mine's. But it isn't as overgrown. Like, it isn't so long that it goes over my face. No, it's just as long as my nose. I was really confused of the length of her bangs because I knew it was overgrown, but it looked kind of weird being it's so close to the nose and my mouth. Her bangs are really weird. I wish I could go back and fix it again. It looks actually weird for me. For her side bangs, it's pretty wavy. Yes, wavy. Her side bangs are wavy, but not too wavy that it becomes curly, just a little bit like mine's. I really don't like the first side bang that I made. It doesn't really look good. It looks kind of sketchy. Oh wait, I realized this is actually a sketch, so I think I went in and changed it again after I was doing line art. And her hair is pretty wavy like mine. It goes out, in, and then out again. It's really weird. I don't know why it does that. So I also tried to incorporate it to the picture. Didn't work out very well. It turned out going inward. And her hair is pretty messy like mine. Mine's is actually not as messy as the one in the picture, but still it's pretty messy. I know my base for my hands is pretty weird, but that's how I do it. Yes, it's really weird. So then again, I'm trying to draw her fingers. Pretty much trying to solve what her fingers are gonna look like. I was gonna do that thing where her middle finger and her ring finger were gonna stick together. It took me a really long time. I didn't want it to look chunky. I wanted it to look natural, like how our fingers would rest. So I did that with both of the hands, but the second hand that I did, it didn't really work out. So I just drew a line in between. And man, thumbs are really hard to draw. Sometimes they just look like french fries. Now I'm going to do her clothes. Yes, I'm going to do her clothes, yes. Her clothes is pretty much just a simple little hoodie. It was gonna be pretty baggy, but not too baggy until it goes over her hands, just enough. Don't see that much really from my sketch. Now I'm on to the line art. I add a new layer and then I made the sketch layer. I turned to a sketch layer and then I made it go. I made the opacity go a little less harsh, and now I'm on the line art. I used the brown, like dark brown, for my line art. My mouse looks like it's doing nothing, but there was actually a color palette right in front of it, so I was fidgeting with the color palette right now. So please don't mind. Now because I didn't know if they had a bucket or not, I would do this thing where I outline the whole thing, but I didn't use the bucket, I just folded it with the brush. Yes, I know, I'm wasting my time. Onto the neck. Managed to make it a bit more clean. For the hand too, I didn't really make it clean, it's okay. And now for the other one, didn't make it as clean too. I probably missed some white spots everywhere. Yep, told you. I missed some white spots. And now I'm just cleaning up. The skin, I think, was the easiest one out of them all. Yes, I think it was the easiest one. But even though the shading for her skin wasn't really detailed, I have to say that. I actually can't believe I managed to erase my mistakes without zooming in like crazy. I'm actually really proud of myself, yes. Soft touch to it, So I tried to find the brush that was most close to, you know, an airbrush, and then I found it. So I made her a light blush, nothing too serious. Then I realized my eraser wasn't sharp anymore. I tried blurring the blush, but I didn't know how to use it, so I just gave up. My mind was so confused why my eraser wasn't erasing at all. I added a little bit of blush on her nose, making sure that was blurred. Gave a little bit for her fingers too. It was probably my favorite when I added blush on fingers. It doesn't happen to me at all, but still, it's pretty cute. And then once again, my eraser was failing me. Now I am going back to erasing excess colors. Then I went in and started doing real skin shading, and it was perfect. The brush was perfect. It wasn't too harsh. It was as soft as I needed it to be. And I fiddled again with my brush, making sure it was back to normal. Wasn't as soft as it was before. Colored in her eyes. Her eyes are pale yellow, just like this really bright yellow. Something like an owl's. Oh no, Heike, oh no. I think I am trying to do my hair base. Yes, I am. I made sure the brush was really big. And then I tried to color in the hair as clean as I can, making sure it doesn't go out of the line art. Kind of failed. Made sure it was as clean as I could make it. Didn't want to have a huge mess outside that I could have avoided. Her hair is navy, like very dark navy. I thought it was, no. I decided it was actually gonna be black, but then I thought to myself, oh, then how are they going to see the line art? So I just picked something else. But it actually looks black. So now I lowered the opacity of the hair base and then started to erase the axis of the base. made sense with the color palette. Yeah, I just started to make little dots across my head, but I thought that would be way too chunky, so I decided to just scratch that idea. I did that to all the corners that has highlights, and then I think I decided that maybe I should change the way that I do it. Did I do it? Oh my god, please ignore. I hope we get to coloring the clothes soon, because this is taking a really long time. So now I'm done fiddling with the highlights. Now I'm just gonna start doing the clothing. And once again, the invisible color picker. Woohoo! The invisible color picker once again. So while I was trying to find the color that I want, I decided on two colors that I would use. One, which is red, and the other black. I thought black would mesh into her hair a little bit too much, so I thought, why not this really maroon kind of red? So yeah, I decided to go with red. I ended up liking it though. It's really nice. Kind of warm palette like that. I'm just coloring in the hoodie. I am actually really proud with my choice of color. Then I realized that I haven't continued the hoodie. So I drew another line there so I could continue coloring the clothes. So I did. Then I went back to coloring the clothes. I think the clothes wasn't really hard. It wasn't really hard. But for the white parts, it was kind of tricky for me to find the perfect shade for it. So now I'm just gonna color in the hoodie peacefully, because it's the last thing I have to do before I'm finished with the drawing. I know. It's almost ending. Woohoo! I finally cover up that little mishap, that little those little scratches that I didn't erase. Oh, I feel so good now. Then I decided to make sure it's clean. Then I continued with the right side of the hoodie. clean it up a little bit. Then I kind of cleaned up the other sleeve a little bit. Then I did the other sleeve. It was so satisfying to do one line and it matched perfectly with the line art. It was really fun. I really enjoyed drawing this piece because I could take my time. It wasn't any challenge or something. If it was a challenge, I would be panicking. It was really nice. Now I finally colored in that little thing that I thought was a shirt. I don't think it actually makes sense now. It just looks like her hoodie is a neck pillow. Like, don't you think it just looks like a neck pillow now? But I don't really see it now. It's okay. It still looks like a hoodie. Still looks like a hoodie. That's good. So now I'm just gonna do the shading. Set it to multiply. Add a new layer and set it to multiply. Then I started shading. I soon realized that the color was too dark, just too dark to be a shade. But of course, opacity to the rescue. I started adding a shade where her clothes would make a shadow because something was covering it from being exposed to light. Made sure it was clean. I also colored in the wrinkles a little bit. I was really trying to be precise with this. Now I'm doing the right sleeve. Trying to go as clean as I could possibly be. Then I started to shade the clothing. There was this little piece of hair that was going to be in the hoodie. Start shading it. Took me a long time with it. I don't know why. It just took me a real long time. Adding more shade. Give it some more shade. I started cleaning up some shade because it looked really messy. The left sleeve was looking a little too blank, so I made that little thing to form a wrinkle. It actually worked. I'm happy. And then I started to add some shade to to the part of her shoulders. Wow, I didn't thought I would put so much into shading the clothes as much as I did with the hair. But I think I didn't put that much into the clothes as much as the hair. The hair was just woo. That was a lot. Then I started messing around with the opacity, making sure it wasn't too harsh, wasn't too soft. I was messing around with the numbers really. Then when I was comfortable with opacity, I had to shade the white from her clothes. I am just gonna make it clear that I am really confused on how I'm gonna do this. So I started shading with the purple. I wasn't really worried about it because the opacity was full, so I know it wouldn't be this harsh. So I just started adding the shade with the purple. It's actually like a really light violet. Oh my god. Then I started to add shade on the strings. I don't know if you would call it strings. You would probably call it lines because I didn't add anything to the end of it where it would usually have something. I was just really lazy. For some reason, I started darkening it a little bit more. Didn't really actually know why. Probably because you can see it when I put the opacity back to its usual self, where it's not too harsh. So I added a way darker one so you could see it. But it turns out when I put it back to that, it was too harsh. I was too lazy at this point. I wasted so many hours. No, I wasted so many minutes on the hair. I probably didn't care anymore. So now I'm just checking on if I missed anything. But now I guess I am done with my I'm done with my drawing. I'm done with my OC. Yay! I wanted to write something, but I didn't know what to write, so I'm just gonna say thank you for watching this video. I know it's a pretty long video with me just rambling about really weird stuff. But I know I'm just an amateur, so this is probably my worst yet for my drawing. but I know I will improve. I know I will. So please subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell for you to know when I will post another video. And thank you for watching this video. Anyways, I hope you comment on what you think my art looks like, because I really need some feedback, and that's how I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye bye now. I'ma go.